Live from Newton, Iowa, welcome race fans one and all to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we are set to go racing once again for more stellar racing action here on Friday night for the Zero Torque Racing League. Good afternoon one and all, and welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rempel. Alongside Lucas Moody, we're bringing you all of racing action for the first race in the round of 16. Lucas, 16 drivers enter the arena, and after the ninth, there's a chance that one of them will be locked into the round of 12.
It's going to be such a phenomenal race today. A lot of these guys that have been locked in the playoffs since week 1, since week 4, since earlier on in the regular season, they haven't had to race under pressure in about 10 or 12 weeks. But now the pressure's all on, the scoreboard has been reset, and the round of 16 starts today.
The drivers that are currently in and who have the advantage: Robert Tester, TJ Ivey, Evan Stewart, Jamie Lee Dunning, Jonathan Dominics. Then the ones that just barely made it in: Stephen Blevins, Austin Guerrero, Douglas Ivey, Corey King Wright, Danny Molinari, Blake Hewlett, and Joshua Siegfried. The ones that start this race on the back foot include Brian Matthews, Aaron Longworth, Frank Chavez, and Chris Mackey. 4 drivers will be going home at the end of 3 races from tonight. The opening race in the round of 16, of course, is always going to be an intense one here for this championship. And these 3 races include the Iowa Speedway, the Nashville Super Speedway, and of course, the Pocono Raceway. 3 tracks, each one longer than the one that preceded it, and each one presenting a brand new challenge.
And of course, looking forward to that round of 12. Not only do you have a super speedway like Daytona, they're throwing in the Charlotte Roval to get us a good road course race for that round of 12. And then it continues into the round of 8 with Vegas and Auto Club, the 2 West Coast races there for us. So it's going to be a phenomenal season. And not only, Nolan, is this race kicking off the round of 16, it is also kicking off the Not In Playoffs tournament, where a good chunk of the drivers will be competing head-to-head in a best 2 out of 3 races to try to earn themselves $100 come Homestead.
Of course, that is a race that is going to be going on all throughout the course of the playoff season, as well as something for the guys that didn't manage to make the show to fight over as well. So a lot of those drivers are present here this afternoon and are ready to do battle as well. 20 cars so far have put down times in qualifying here this afternoon, and the weather forecast for the afternoon, well, it's looking to be a hot day. 121 degrees Fahrenheit out there around the Iowa Speedway and the world's fastest short track. That is making it for some quite extreme temperatures for these drivers to put it down here this afternoon.
Grab your fans, grab your cold towels. It is a hot day out there for the spectators. 121 degrees Fahrenheit. These drivers have to be so careful on the exits of turn 4 and turn 2 here. Already, they're very easy to get caught out on with how bumpy it is and how close that wall seems to come at you. Well, with the 121 degrees track temperature, the grip is going to be at an all-time low for these guys. It's going to be a very difficult race out there.
And, you know, this track, of course, shares many characteristics with that of the Richmond Raceway, and dare I say, this track to Richmond is much like Talladega is to Daytona, right? The track is a little bit wider, the banking just a little bit more exaggerated, the track just a little bit longer, and the start-finish line just a little bit further down the straightaway. But as far as the racing goes, the racing at Iowa tends to be a lot more momentum-based in the point-and-shoot style of Richmond, and that means that multi-groove racing could be key this afternoon.
Yeah, and 100%. We definitely can see a lot of side-by-side battles here that go on for 2, 3, even 4 or 5 laps at a time. So make sure to watch out for that. And it is about momentum. How can you put yourself on the outside of one corner to really get a run on your opponent down that next straight? It's a lot of chess going to be played out here tonight, and I cannot wait for it all to get started.
Just 40 seconds to go before this race kicks off here this afternoon. Right now, Evan Stewart topping the qualifying boards and is set to start his race from provisional pole. But, of course, we look at the practice standings as well, and it tells a little bit of a story here, right? 9 drivers all in the playoffs, locking out the top 9 of the practice standings.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, these guys, they would have put a lot of work in this week ahead to prep themselves for this first race of the playoffs. And you can see it is very close there at the top. All top 4 drivers separated by just less than 1/10 of a second, with it fanning out a little more behind. It's going to be a close qualifying, which means it's going to be a good and close race as well.
Time to see who's going to be starting where of a race in action here this afternoon. 140 laps set to get underway here this afternoon. And starting on pole position, then it is, of course, Evan Stewart, the Fish Speed Brakes number 37 Mustang, starting this race from pole position. The Luminary Concept number 1, meanwhile, of Akari King Wright will start alongside him on the front row by just 0.03 of a second. From there, row 2 on the grid, it's Joshua Siegfried to the discount tire number 2. He is alongside the Hunt Brothers Pizza number 22 of Robert Tester. Row 3 on the grid, it's Austin Guerrero in the Happy Hour number 24 Camry. He is alongside Chris Mackey with the Napa Auto Parts All-State number 10 down in 6th. Row 4, it's Stephen Blevins of the Skyline number 51 for Ford alongside Jonathan Dominic with the Muck-Off number 45 Camry. Top 10 then closed out by TJ Ivan of the AC Delco number 88 alongside the Budweiser number 12 of Adam Hoagland.
And starting this race in the 6th row and 11th position, it's that Red Bull number 7 of Samuel Longworth alongside that Starlight 69 of Justin Day. Then just behind them, you have the Pennzoil 85 of Dave Shively alongside that 707 Mustang of Chris Gaxel. And then in 15th and 16th positions, it's looking like the 4 of Eric Morton alongside that Frontier 47 of Ted Gambo. And then starting this race in 17th position, it's going to be that Green Chili Jam 57 of Austin Norris and that Flamin' Hot Cheetos 87 of Blake Hewlett. And then rounding out your top 20, it's going to be that Allensauer Busch 33 of Douglas Ivey, one of the playoff drivers. He has a lot of ground to make up here alongside the 07 of Wayne Graves.
Back then, 21st place, it is Frank Chavez of the Raptor number 23. He is alongside Jamie Lee Dunny for the Keystone Racing Group. Row 12 of the grid, it's Daniel Molinari. He is alongside Aaron Longworth. Row 13, then Brian Matthews. He is alongside Riley Watts. Brian Matthews, the furthest driver out of the playoff contenders here this afternoon, and that sets us up for racing action then here this afternoon as the field is going to get set to roll on out from the Iowa Speedway. And Lucas, we're in for a fun ride.
Yeah, this is going to be a great race here. These top 9 spots are all locked out by playoff drivers, but you always have to keep an eye out for that number 22 of Robert Tester. He was a dominating force in the season this far, not only being the first winner of the season, but also the regular season championship. He's got his teammate Joshua Siegfried up there in the top 4 with him, and watch out for that 22 to take control of this race and take a nice win.
Just one lap to go before this race gets underway. I think one driver that can't be underestimated, Evan Stewart. He's won 2 races already this season. And with him starting from pole, he's proven that if he gets up front, he can be a tough man to beat. Evan Stewart from the pole position could be one to watch here as well.
Yeah, 100%. And as these drivers, they're taking turn 3, they're going to round turn 4 very soon. That pace car is going to head down in to the pit road, and those lights are off. Here we go, knowing the playoffs are going to start any second here, and I'm just full of excitement.
iRacing pace car can make its sharp left-hand turn to the pit road, this time by out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Brian Matthews and Riley Watts both starting this race from pit road. And as always, we're happy that you are joining us for more racing action here on this fantastic Friday night, as it is the first race in the playoffs. Pace car is off, time to get the party started. And it's go, go, go in playoff season of the Zero Torque Racing League. Coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4, it is going to be Akari King Wright leading the way for the first time tonight off of the top side of the racetrack, while Evan Stewart trying to power through down the inside, and turn number 1 coming around to the back straightaway.
Yeah, Akari King Wright got his win at Dover, locking himself into the playoffs during week 2. expect him to be really quick around these short tracks. And just like I'm saying, he's already proving feisty, and he's trying to get this move done around the outside of Evan Stewart. But Evan Stewart is not having it, and he's just barely holding on to that inside of the one machine.
Well, the field going to dive back down to the turn numbers 3 and 4 as Evan Stewart and Car King Wright continue to fight it out side by side. Coming up and over the hill here, working their way down the front straightaway, and it is Robert Testa to push down the fast lap of the race. But I talked about that multi-group race that we can expect to see here, Lucas. Right now, Stewart and King Wright have not been single file since the start of this race. They've been side by side since the drop of the green flag back on lap number 1. Just now, finally, King Wright tucks in behind Stewart.
Yeah, they were side by side the entire 3 laps. Car King Wright decides to cut his losses, running that outside line roll, and is really going to burn up your tires. Not only are you carrying more speed around the track, but you're also traveling a further distance around the track. So you really have to be careful about running that high line as much as King Wright was doing, and the caution's out on lap 5.
First yellow flag of the day, and it is for Justin Day, who has gone around at the tail end of the field here, looking like a single car accident to slow us down for the first time here tonight. As we will try to get a look in here on what has happened to that number 69 car here. Coming on around. And Justin Day just going to get loose out of turn 2, lose the back end, and spins her right around and does a good job locking it down, keeps it off the wall, keeps it out of traffic, but that is what slows us down for the first time this afternoon. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of expected the yellow flag to be coming out here early, Lucas. This stage is only 30 laps, right? 140 laps on a track like this is astronomically short.
Yeah, the other thing I talked about, turn 2, turn 4, probably going to catch these drivers out. And already 5 laps into the race, it catches out the driver of that 69 machine. But he did a great job, as you said, of just getting out of the racing surface, locking his car down, keeping it off the inside wall. And no, I don't expect this caution to last very long at all, because the cars were already packed together. It's only going to be 1 pacing lap, and then you've got 2 to go, 1 to go, and you're out a 22-second track like Iowa. We should get racing again probably within the next minute.
Yes, sir. Set to go racing here once again as, well, this field continuing to roll around behind the iRacing pace car. Right now, driver that is heading up the front end is, of course, Evan Stewart, one of many playoff contenders. They lock out the top 9, and then it is some distance back to Blake Hewlett, the driver in 16th place, who is, of course, the contender that is the first one outside of the top 10 running in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then, of course, we also have to watch for those not in playoffs tournament that's going on as well. So Adam Hogland currently in 10th position. He is one of the unlucky drivers who had been put in this 3-way battle. So essentially for the tournament, everyone has a head-to-head matchup. Besides, there's 2 3-way battles due to bye rounds gonna be lasting too long, and I'm just trying to keep this short. But Adam Hogland is doing a great job. If he beats out Bernhardt and Gaxel, and Bernhardt's not in this race, so it's only Gaxel, that 707, who's currently in 12th, 2 spots behind him. He can get that first point in that best 2 out of 3 that's happening.
Good look here aboard the iRacing pace car as this field continues to roll their way around. I'll have to get looks inside this little pace car here. Now, obviously, I have a feeling like our glorious pace car driver is going to have his hands full here this afternoon, and he's been used to having some pretty easy nights off in the last little while, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think he's going to be able to get that pace car at steps in here before the end of the night.
Yeah, you think back to Talladega, where there was some cautions towards the end, and of course there's that stage caution that's thrown 2 times every race here, but they kept it very clean at Talladega. And of course at Watkins it was also a relatively clean race due to it being a road race, so not a lot of cautions actually came out. As get a replay here on board with the 69. I'm curious if he's just looking at him for fun, I guess. Here we go.
This is on board with the replay here of that incident. You hear the wheels just spin up, and around she goes. So green flag going to be coming out this time by as we are set to do battle once again. Green flag is back in the air and we are underway.
A really early jump there from Stewart. Caught Robert Tester and Akari King right off job, and Tester's actually going to be able to get past that one machine up into that second place position. But Joshua Siegfried, Chris Mackey behind Siegfried, a little moment in the wall there. He has to be careful on the exit of 2. We've already had one car losing his rear tires there and spinning out. But now here we go. We've made it one green flag lap after that caution. And this race is set to continue for a good while now.
And this time, Robert Tester, right, he is not able to pounce on Evan Stewart like Corey King Wright was. So these drivers are going to remain single file for the time being. So the pack is going to continue to fight this one out here as Evan Stewart looks set to try and pull himself further clear. A lot of side-by-side, though, here towards the tail end of things as drivers getting a little bit dicey deeper in the field. Aaron Longseed trying to cut the middle, and Justin Day, of course, from that incident, he's trying to work his way through as well.
Yeah, it also looks like Molinari's trying to make it through the middle of 3 wide. He's got that 42. He's got that 42 of Aaron Longworth on his inside, so he's got to be careful. And Longworth to move up the track, and now on the inside of Ted Gamble.
Trying to go down the inside of Gamble here as they're going to fire their way through and in towards turn numbers 1 and 2 for the first time tonight. Aaron Long continuing to try to pull clear for the outside, while up front, Adam Hoagland under fire from Stephen Blevins. Blevins all the way up to the outside line. Adam Hoagland down low. And then, of course, Eric Morton, Jamie Lee Dunning, and more. Chris Gaxel, you talked about him. He's still very much in the ways, and actually he's going to get busted up the racetrack there by Eric Morton from the inside.
Yeah, Gaxel, of course, running that bright green paint scheme is already cut me off a couple of times this race, but Eric Morton does a great job of getting down the inside of Jamie Lee Dunning and holding on to this position now. But Lee Dunning, he's trying to stick it around the outside, looking for that 13th position. He's got the distance. He does. Eric Morton has to file back into line. Jamie Lee Dunning now moves up to 13. He's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to secure himself.
Look out!
Whoa!
Akari King Wright kicking the tail end out as they came out at turn number 4, but King Wright is able to save it. Joshua Siegfried clears across the nose of the number 1. And now you see that 88 of TJ Ivey trying to cut to the inside, and that AC Delco Chevrolet looking to make moves. Akari King Wright all the way up to the outside wall, but Ivey's got the nose in on the inside, and he's going to clear him down into turn 1.
Yeah, Corey King Wright, just those 4 laps of hanging out around the outside of Evan Stewart, that might have been enough, Nolan, to really hurt his tires early on, because now you see him falling back through the field, falling off the pace from the guys around him, like Ivy, also like Mackey, who seems to be catching that one machine as well. So I talked about it as it was happening, but that outside line hurts so much, especially if you're trying to push for the position and push for the overtake. It just hurts so even more. Look at that! He's getting loose out of the corner exit at 2. Those rear tires, Nolan, are struggling on that one machine, as here we have a move down the inside from Samuel Longworth.
Yeah, this is plenty of side-by-side action. The Longworth brothers are looking to fight it out here deeper in the field as well. David Shively all the way up to the outside line trying to make some progress as well. You've got Ted Gamble, you've got Justin Day. And also down the inside is that of Douglas Ivey in the mix here as well. So a lot of side-by-side, but it's all deep in the field while they're getting single file up front.
Yeah, I can tell these guys up towards the front, fighting for playoff contention. They're saving their tires as we're 4 wide for a second. Samuel Longworth gets pushed up into the wall. That's going to lose him 4 or 5 spots. It's Justin Day now looking around the outside of your playoff driver, Daniel Molinari, with Ted Gamble just waiting behind them, seeing if he can find a spot of weakness, find an opening to make him through wide. But Justin Day, Molinari going to stay side by side through this next corner now.
Yeah, Justin Day trying to go down to the inside. Daniel Molinari in that 82 car is trying to get down and in there as well. You've also got Ted Gamble trying to make some ground on the inside as Molinari tracks up in the middle line. No dives that time, but hold on, look out, Molinari. And the 82 car going to be straddling that apron now up the track and right in front of Frank Chavez. And Chavez has to check to avoid contact.
Wow, Molinari almost just completely ended his and Ted Gamble's race there as he was understeering so much, still is understeering, Nolan. Look at that. Molinari cannot get that 82 machine turned in at all as Gamble's going to have to check up behind him, allowing Frank Chavez to get 2 spots and 1 quarter. Now Hewlett is having some troubles of his own, so are we seeing some tire wear issues coming in early for King Wright, for Hewlett, and for Daniel Molinari here?
And all of this while the battles continue on inside the top 10, and this is with less than 10 laps to go in stage 1. Remember, that stage ends at the end of lap 30, so we are just powering through this race here this afternoon. This is a short run affair so far. Trouble back straightaway in turn 3, and Frank Chavez has hit the wall hard.
Yeah, I think he's lost his steering, Nolan. Look at how he's trying to drive that thing, and all the front right damage you can tell. We're going to replay of what happened here. Maybe he had some help.
Oh, no, sir, no help. Just lost on his own and overcorrected and slammed into that outside wall, entering turn number 3, and he has been forced to take the toe to pit road from the infield. No caution, we stay green, and it's 5 to go in stage 1, this time at the line.
Yeah, and of course, Dave Shively in that tournament is facing off against Ted Gamble, who's currently in 21st position. So that matchup between Shively and Gamble is going to be one to watch, because both of them are in this race and look to have a lot of midfield pace here. But Evan Stewart, I mean, 1.6 seconds out in front of Robert Tester. He is dominating this first stage as Ivy looking to the inside of Siegfried.
4 laps to go here between TJ Ivy and Joshua Siegfried, as Siegfried going to try to hold on up on the outside line. TJ Ivy trying to see if he can't cut in there. Siegfried diving back down to the turn 1. 4 laps to go in stage number 1, and so far that 88 car of TJ Ivy continues to hold on to the final podium position, and it is looking like he's going to run clear for now.
Yeah, and these points, especially now that we're in the playoffs, are going to matter so much more than they did during the regular season. Remember, it's 10 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th position. So the fact that these top 9 spots are all held by playoff drivers put those 9 guys in a really good position to start off this round of 16, as Adam Hogland's having some troubles now, allowing it to be an entire top 10 full of playoff drivers, as Blevins also makes a move around Pereira.
Yeah, Hogland and Jonathan Dominics got tangled up together. Jonathan Dominics got loose. Hogland got checked out. That allowed Jamie Lee Dunny to take over the 9th place position just up the road. Austin Guerrero, meanwhile, attacking Blevins. It's white flag at stage 1, this time by.
Yeah, here we go. Guerrero just got passed by Stephen Blevins, but he's not done yet. He's looking for a move around the outside, but Blevins sends deep into the corner, not allowing Guerrero to get any sort of a move down to the car. King right down the inside of Joshua Siegfried. He's going to have one more lap to see if he can get past. They're going to go side by side into 1 and 2, but they're still going to be side by side. King right has to hope to get the move.
Evan Stewart clear by 2 seconds down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. He's going to come out of the final corner, and at the line to close out stage number 1, it is going to be Evan Stewart, followed close behind by Robert Tester, TJ Ivy, Joshua Siegfried, Akari King Wright, Chris Mackey, Stephen Blevins, Austin Guerrero, Jamie Lee Dunning, and Jonathan Dominics closes out stage number 1, and caution number 2 in the books.
Yeah, we had a really nice and clean first stage there. Besides that one freak self-spin that I'm sure Justin Day has corrected for himself, stayed out of the wall even too, so not any damage, no harm, no foul done from that. And we got a lot of green flag racing there, some good laps, and Evan Stewart just wins it in an absolute masterclass. Great tire saving, great pace all around, pulling out a 2-second gap in just 30 laps of racing.
Green flag going to be coming out before too long. We're going to take ourselves a step back, and when we return, it is more racing action on Green Flag TV. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are moments away from return to the Green Flag racing here from the Iowa Speedway. A thrilling opening stage. Some racing action here at the Iowa Speedway. One yellow flag for a solo spin, and then we went green the rest of the way. Now stage 2 going to be carrying on all the way through until lap number 70. So almost another 40 laps here ahead of us.
Yeah, and since these guys were able to make 30 laps pretty easily on one tank of fuel, I'm gonna predict that they can make it to the end of lap 70 on this same tank of fuel, and that we won't see any green flag pit stops until that third and final stage. No, and it's a bit of a bold prediction this early on, but from what I've seen, I think I'm pretty correct in saying it.
And so all of this will see us go 1 to green this time by, and it'll look to be a 35-lap stage. Evan Stewart, the driver that took the win in stage number 1 and led every single lap from that opening stage as well. Robert Tessner on the outside. You saw everybody come down pit road under this yellow flag. Samuel Longworth just now leaving pit road. He is now 2 laps down, participating in an extended period of time at pit road, getting damage repairs. You still see some on the right front.
Yeah, and Longworth is in that not in playoff tournament, but his opponent, Daniel Morwokwin, is actually not in this race tonight. So he gets a win by default simply from that 13 car not showing up. With the lights on that pace car off, Sage 2 is about to kick off any moment now.
Green flag awaits in turn numbers 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Evan Stewart jumps on the loud pedal, and stage 2 is underway.
Yeah, once again, using that advantage to control the restart, getting already a half a second gap from the guys behind. Tester hits the wall as Ivy's looking down the inside of him, and further behind Guerrero now looking down the inside of Akari. King right, 2x2 battles happening all up and down the field here as Austin Guerrero, he's on that harder to drive inside line. The Kari King right is going to clear him, and now looking for a move of himself on to the 51 of Steven Blevins. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. He clears him out of turn 2.
A lot of double file going on here as the pack cycles through into turn numbers 3 and 4. Austin Guerrero down on the inside now of Blevins, as just like in stage 1, all of the fighting side by side is contained to the midfield. Joshua Siegfried almost put 3 wide as Adam Hoglund sends one down the inside. John of the Dominics remains tied up top. as does Aaron Long to David Shively, also in the mix down low.
Yeah, look at that 57. He's in the middle of two side-by-side battles here. That's Austin Norris kind of just trapped, nowhere to go. He's looking for the inside of Adam Hoglund. Hoglund closes it off on that occasion, but now he's down the inside of Jonathan Dominics in that 45 machine, and he's going to be on the bad line now as Norris. So he's going to have to make quick work of this 45, or he might just be trapped on this low side here.
We continue to fight it out side by side. As the field looking for three for a brief moment, but still it remains two different lines as Aaron Longworth catches the outside wall. We got one car slow on the back straightaway. That is Frank Chavez, who just came out of pit road. He was letting the whole field through, so he didn't become an impediment.
Yeah, I like the respect there shown from the 23 to not want to interrupt any of the battles happening here, because as you see, the 57 of Norris is side by side with one of your playoff drivers, I believe, and the 42 of Aaron Longworth. But of course, Gamble does have something to race for as well because of that playoffs tournament. So even though he's not in the playoffs, he's going to be battling this hard. But Aaron Longworth has that better outside line, and he is going to clear the 57.
Under 100 laps to go, and a lot of the fights are remaining quite a bit closer than we normally see at a short track like this, right? A lot of nose to tail, a lot of door-to-door competing here from a lot of racers. One driver that doesn't share that sentiment, though, Evan Stewart, already pulling clear by 1.2.5 in less than 10 laps up the road. And while he did just catch the wall, this track looks like Evan Stewart's track, and he could be looking for a complete lockout win today.
Yeah, I don't mean to bring out any Caster's curse here, but this is looking like Kyle Larson dominance, because, you know, those races that Kyle Larson wins, it always feels like it was kind of a boring one where he just gets the lead and leads almost the entire race, and that's what Stewart's doing here tonight. And that 1.3 second gap now up to 1.5 seconds for a moment. It just keeps increasing by a tenth to 2/10 every single lap, with Ivy not being able to have anything to answer.
Adam Hoglund trying to go down the inside, and he's got the 42 of Longworth trying to go up around his outside. And Adam Hoglund, oh boy, holding on down low as the HendrickCars.com number 42 continue to pull clear up on the outside, trying to fight for that final spot inside the top 10 for stage points.
Still Hoglund looking to that inside line of Longworth. Longworth, of course, he is a playoff driver. He wants to make quick work of this 12 machine so we can start fighting those guys in the top 10 that are all in the playoffs, might I add. But Hoglund is doing a great job of holding this inside line and really just being an annoying fly into the ears of Aaron Longworth as he momentarily gets ahead across the line. But down to the inside of the corner, Hoglund is going to pull a little bit ahead, and Longworth has a lot of work to do if he wants to get around him still.
Well, Hoglund going to continue to fight this one now. Jonathan Dominics now holding the last spot inside the top 10 up the road as Adam Hoglund trying to pull it clear for Longworth behind, but Longworth not letting him have it easily. And Dominics loves to see this because he's able to just walk away with that final spot inside the top 10. All the while, other contenders like Siegfried and Blevins now single file up the road.
Yeah, this is what you love to see as a driver when you're racing a short track, because you see the guys behind battling you, or you see a really big gap behind. What that does is it takes the pressure from your pace. You can simply drive the car really easily and save those tires, allowing you to later towards the finish have more pace compared to all the other guys ahead. And now that 42 of Aaron Longworth does get the move done around Sam Hoglund, as Hoglund now has to fight with Norris as he's still trapped on that worse off inside line.
Wayne Graves looking like he may have had a bit of a problem a couple of seconds ago. This is what happened to the driver of the Series 7, now down by 7 seconds from his next close competitor, all the way in 22nd place. Just lost the back end coming out of turn 4. slid around and smoked the tires of the front straight away, and he has found the outside wall.
It's a little bit of contact there. I will be very surprised if that gives Wayne Graves any damage there. What that means for the tournament, actually, Wayne Graves is the other driver in a three-way battle versus Justin Day and Austin Norris. So Norris currently in 13th, winning that battle between those three cars, as Adam Hoagland now looking for Jonathan Dominics as Longworth, while we were away, was able to get past that 45.
So the fights continue. Look at this, a massive lunge from Hoagland to the inside of Dominics. He recognized that time is going to be running out quickly here, and he is desperate to try and find his way around the muck off number 45 Camry.
Yeah, that really was a big lunge there, and I mean, he's managed to stay side by side throughout a couple corners. He's going to lose some time here on the exit of 2. But he's going to send it once again into the entrance of 3. He is getting a lot of dirty air from Stephen Blevins ahead. And once again, that outside line is just going to power Dominics around him. And all of that ground he made up in the middle of the corner, he's just going to lose on the exit. And now these two looking to go side by side for a couple of laps in a row. Oh no, Hoagland!
Oh, hold on. Starting to lose control, 3 wide. They're going to save it. Aaron Longworth powers through to the 10th place spot, and just like that, Hoagland gets him back and hits him a second time, this time in turn 3. And that's going to shove Dominics all the way back to 15. And it's getting physical in Iowa.
Wow, wow. Hoagland just back-to-back corners, understeers into the inside of Jonathan Dominics. And Dominics, the 45, really had nothing to do with either of those incidents, but he gets worse for the wears here as a playoff driver drops from the top 10 all the way down to 15th position. He loses now that chance of getting that crucial point for finishing 10th in the stage, and now he's got to survive. He's got to drive to survive here as Axel, Hewlett, they're now going to try to get past him.
And the 707 of Gaxel now down to the inside of Jonathan Dominics. Pushing up to the top lane here as he's got the Cheetos machine of Hewlett trying to cut to the inside. So Hewlett trying to make a move while Gaxel continues to fight this one out with Dominics. And tell you what, that got a bit feisty out there for a hot minute, but Hewlett still maintaining his run deeper in the field. Got Justin Day, of course, the cause of yellow flag number 1, still in the background as well. Up front, the Car King Wright starting to attack Robert Tess as he tries to claw his way back to the second place he started in this afternoon.
Yeah, Car King Wright, from what it looks like, might have been saving tires here, Nolan, because look at the way he's able to lunge that car into the inside of 3, gets that move done on Robert Tester, puts himself in 4th position, and 1.9 seconds behind Jamie Lee Dunning. He's going to be hoping he can use that advantage he's created this entire stint and start working away, eating away at that gap now. But he's only got 11 laps to do it.
Well, the Car King Wright going to keep up the pressure here as he now seeks to run down Jamie Lee Dunning. He's got 11 more laps to get the job done. In the fight for 10th, Aaron Longworth maintains in that number 42. Right behind him, Austin Norris and Adam Hoagland also getting a bit closer together, trying to make some runs. And in the pit road comes TJ Ivy bailing out. He's going to be sacrificing stage points here.
Okay, so I wonder if he's, sacrificing those stage points to try to propel himself up the order when everybody else pits under that stage caution. Or Nolan, maybe my prediction was wrong and these guys can't make it to the end of stage 2 without pitting. Either could be the case here, and we'll have to wait 8 laps time to see which one it is. But it is a really early pit stop from the 88 here as Jamie Lee Dunning also coming down pit road. Maybe their tanks aren't big enough for 40 laps.
Now, granted, we have seen before about how the ZTRL Racing League tends to change their fuel limitations on a week-to-week basis depending on the track. So they could have just given these guys severe tank limitations. And it looks like they have done just that because Stage 1 winner Evan Stewart is into pit road as well. So you're correct here, Lucas. They can't make it to the end of Stage 2. So here comes the field.
Yeah, and that actually kind of lines up with what ZTRL does with a lot of these races, where Stage 1 you can easily make it on fuel. Stage 2, it's you barely just can't make it on fuel. And then Stage 3 is, of course, you have to pit at least one time if you want to make it to the end. And as you can see here, they made it about 31 laps. Is now everybody coming down pit lane. I see a Kari King right. I see the 42 of Longworth and that 10 of Chris Mackey. So here we go. The undercut, the overcut, what worked here, and when it's all said and done, when everything has been filed out, will Evan Stewart keep the lead, and where does everybody else come out behind him?
Well, the field going to keep up the battles here as Hogland trying to make some runs here, and Joshua Siegfried, I think, trying to see if he can stretch this tank out as far as he can. He has started to slip, though, and stumble through the field. And it's going to be only 5 laps to go here at the end of to the end of Stage 2. This time by Robert Tester, staying out for one more here, trying to save. While other drivers like Jonathan Dominics are still coming to pit road.
Yeah, and that also brings up the question, Nolan. Did any of these guys still out on track go for that fuel-saving strategy? You see Tester, you see Guerrero. Those are 2 guys still out there on track that have a lot to fight for. Usually you would see them come in a little bit earlier and go for the undercut. So it makes me wonder, just a small doubt in my mind, is did they save enough? Did they do what they had to do to stay out all the way to lap 70 as lap 67 is just starting? And Tester survived 3 more laps up there on this tank of fuel.
4.5 laps to go, and Robert Tester, by the way, continuing to show some runs, and he could not make it. He tried, he couldn't go the distance. Austin Guerrero, meanwhile, running in the 5th gear, an extremely high gear for this racetrack. And what he's also doing, putting in the clutch, he is desperately trying to make it to the end of Stage 2 to pick up a stage win.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, though. I don't quite remember who pitted, but he's got Hewlett behind, he's got Blevins behind. I think the first person that's actually come down pit road is Evan Stewart. It is. He's got 18 seconds on the first guy that has already pitted. So if he is able to do it, if he's able to survive a little bit longer, he can pick up this stage win and pick up 10 crucial points in this playoff battle.
Blake Hewlett, big news for Hewlett. He has been caught for speeding on the way into pit road, so major drama for one of your big playoff contenders. That is right at the end of Stage 2. That could be a race killer for Hewlett here, and that could end his chances of getting into the round of 16 early on. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, Austin Guerrero coming around through turn numbers 1 and 2, this time by on the final lap of the 2nd stage, and Stephen Blevins and Siegfried, they look like they're all going to be able to make it around here. And Chris Mackey about to unlap himself as well. Austin Guerrero out of turn number 4. He is going to be the one to take the win here at the end of stage number 1. And then it's going to be Stephen Blevins, Joshua Siegfried, and then it is Stuart Ivy looking for Jamie Lee Dunning and Akari King right. And then it is Mackey Tester, and it will be Jonathan Dominics. 1 lap down for the bottom 2 drivers in the top 10 before this stage is brought to a close.
Very well done there from Guerrero, from Blevins, from Siegfried to manage to take that tank of fuel 40 laps like they did there, getting them 10, 9, and 8 points respectively, which is so massive in this tight and close championship battle. Now all we have to hope for those 3 guys is that pitting under this caution doesn't hurt the race as much as I think it might.
Still has to catch up to the iRacing pace car as well. You saw him strategically slowing down as well to catch up to the iRacing pace car, because that ensures he doesn't have to take the extra lap of pacing to come down to pit road as well. So Austin Guerrero is going to be able to make it into the lane here, still under his own power, which is the critical thing here. credit to him for making it work. We didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, and actually a lot of guys looked like they were on that strategy, going to come down pit road now. As you see, I mean, almost the entire field. I wonder if anyone actually stayed out. I assumed those guys that already pit might stay out, but I think since this last stint is so close, 70 lap stint, cut it in half, that'd be 35-35, Nolan. I think since it's so close, they don't have the option to stay out. They have to get those extra 6 or 7 laps of field there to make it to the end on only one more stop.
Some drivers did stay out, but that is so they can try and get the wave round to get back onto the lead lap, and that could be critical for several drivers that are currently engrossed in playoff contention. Well, coming up over the next little while here on Greenfly TV, let's take a quick look at what's coming up here in the next little while as this field paces around here at the Iowa Speedway. It's a big show tomorrow. The VSCA Sports Car Championship with the McConaughey Setup Shop's 24 Hours of Daytona, starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow afternoon, and it ends at 10 a.m. on Sunday afternoon. A few hours later, the Precision Automobile Club Esports at the Watkins Glen International Circuit, followed by the High Tide Racing League of Pocono. Almost around with their season opener this Tuesday at the Daytona International Speedway. The Beer League back for more as well, as they'll be kicking off their season over on Wednesday, followed by the second race of the round of 16 at ZTRL Racing League at the National Super Speedway. But 24 hours of racing kicking off tomorrow at Daytona, the National Speedway. The roar was truly something to behold, and this is going to be one show you are not going to want to miss. Tune in tomorrow on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for what will be the race of a lifetime.
And don't forget about next Saturday, SRA opens up their truck series with Daytona International Speedway. Of course, they had their feeder series, the Truck Super Speedway Blitz, that's been going on the past 8 or 9 weeks now. But next Saturday, it all kicks off at Daytona for the real deal.
Well, the green flag coming in this time by Austin Guerrero will be the driver to lead the way. We are over halfway home through racing action this afternoon and about to go racing once again.
Yeah, and Guerrero did a great job of fuel saving, and because everybody had to come down to pit road anyways to top up on fuel for these last 65 laps, he now inherits the lead of this race. That Evan Stewart has led every single lap up to that point. But the question is now, can Guerrero hold on? We saw how dominant Evan Stewart has been around this race, how much pace he's been able to extract out of that 37 machine. It's going to be hard for Siegfried and Guerrero to stay in front of Stewart, but if they can, they could lock themselves into the round of 12, crucially, on their first time out.
Green flag back in the air, and stage 3 of the afternoon is underway, and this has been a quick one so far here this afternoon, but a stellar outing that we are continuing to have here as Austin Guerrero pulls clear out of turn numbers 1 and 2, looking for 3 wide. Evan Stewart's going to back out as Guerrero tries to take the spot away from Siegfried.
Yeah, Siegfried still looking around the outside. There's Stewart as well, opting for that outside line. Guerrero's going to hold tight to that bottom, trying to defend for his life as the caution comes out with 64 to go.
Yellow flag in the air, and it is for Wayne Graves, who has gone around to the front straightaway. So the caution comes out once again. And we'll get a look as to how this one comes about. As the 07 entry coming off of turn 4. Chris Gaxel on the inside. And Lucas walk us through it.
Yeah, so Gaxel, a lot of understeer there on the exit of turn 4, and Wayne Graves simply didn't expect it, and he wasn't as close as to the wall as maybe he should have been, but with all that movement from the 707 coming up the track, it's going to be an easy pin onto Gaxel there for that incident there. I mean, he really just has to be careful, and you always have to watch where the car on that outside lane is going to be. I mean, to be fair, he could have been given more room by Wayne Graves, but he's not entitled to it, and he just has to watch out.
So yellow flag is out for the second time. The second time for an incident here this afternoon. Fourth time as a whole in this race, and that puts us to just 62 laps to go. This is big news for Ted Gamble. He will be able to get the Lucky Dog free pass, get himself now back onto the lead lap. Now, he is one of the drivers that is currently racing in the did not make the playoffs tournament. And currently, Ted Gamble, his current opponent, David Shively. And Shively is still down the order. So this is big. Gamble's got a lap up now in his competitor.
Yeah, Gamble getting his lap back, putting himself onto the lead lap. I'm going to assume Shively still stuck 2 laps down now here, Nolan. So the 47, a big momentum swing in that tournament. The other battles happening up and down the field. Longworth wins by default because Moroccan did not show up. Morton wins by default because Farlist didn't show up. The other drivers we're going to watch out for is Hogland versus Gaxel. That's going to be a great one as well. That's, of course, the 12 versus the 707. At the moment, Hogland is 1 lap down, but still has the lead over Gaxel. Some other battles that of drivers actually showing up is going to be Day versus Graves versus Norris. All 3 of those entries are here today, and the current winner of those is Day. Up there in 9th place, up there in the top 10, with Norris and Graves both being much further down the order, especially with Graves just getting spun out in that most recent incident. He's stuck 2 laps down, and Norris 9 himself.
So white flag, at least in this yellow flag. It'll be 59 laps to go when the green flag comes back out. Austin Guerrero, Joshua Siegfried, Evan Stewart, Jamie Lee Dunning, TJ Ivy, Chris Mackey at the top 3 rows. Top 10 headed up by Akari King Wright, Justin Day, Robert Tester, and Aaron Morton. A big climb to the field for Justin Day, the driver that spun out less than 10 laps into this race.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on that. He's done a great job of regathering himself, getting himself back in the good mindset, because after a crucial mistake like that, just 5 laps into the race, sometimes you will just downward spiral into the ground, keep making mistakes, and keep messing up. But he's done a great job of regathering himself, and getting that 69 machine up into the top 10 here as lights in the pace car off, Nolan. Here they go racing.
Austin Guerrero trying to cut down to the inside. Evan Stewart trying to make a run through as Joshua Siegfried is up on the outside. And Guerrero taking full advantage of the side-by-side battle to try to pull himself clear into the lead of the race. Siegfried around the outside of Stewart. Oh, almost catches the wall that time with the number 2 in their main double file.
Yeah, Stewart knows he has a lot of pace out here tonight, so he's going to want to make quick work of Siegfried so he can catch up.
Hard crash.
No, Day's in the wall.
Hard crash with Justin Day. You saw him get tagged to the back of the shot, and then he went hard into the outside wall. A big collision for the 69 entry. Slows us down for the 5th time today.
Ooh. That was really, really weird. I think Morton just got a little bit of mid-corner understeer, and the slightest bit of contact was made between the 4 and the 69 car there. And I just think that put Justin Day straight up into the wall as he tried to correct it. He actually overcorrected. But I'll definitely have to see this one more time.
Yeah, just overcorrected up the hill, and then a big shot into the outside wall. Spins the 69 entry out, and we slow it down again.
And the contact that started that was so tiny that I'm surprised it really gave Justin Day's car that much of a shock. But sometimes that's how it is with these cars, is the weight is really weirdly distributed throughout them. So if you just get tapped in the back just a little bit, it can send your car up into the wall. And Justin Day, he did get the correction. It was overcorrected a little bit, and he couldn't save it in the end.
And still 55 laps to go. And all of a sudden, after running two pretty much clean stages, we are starting to rack things up here relatively quickly. We'll take another step back when we return. It's the Green Flag once again on Green Flag TV. Stay with us. We'll be with you again soon.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. We are just about to return to Green Flag Race here this afternoon. And already some drivers going 3 wide on the approach. As Austin Guerrero getting set to make a run at it here. Green flag is in the air and we are underway.
Yeah, Evan Stewart once again looking side by side through Siegfried, and this time he gets the move done before Siegfried even has a chance, a response for that 37 machine. So now that he has finally cleared Joshua Siegfried, his sights are turned to Austin Guerrero, and Stewart wants to reclaim this lead that he's had for the first almost entire 2 stages, so he can take that top step and lock himself into the round of 12.
Austin Guerrero trying to pull clear out of turn numbers 1 and 2. Evan Stewart trying to run him down. Meanwhile, further behind, the battle for third is on between TJ Ivey and Joshua Siegfried for the 3rd place spot. Approaching 50 laps to go in just 1 lap's time. And still, aggressive dogfights everywhere you look. Evan Stewart with the new fastest lap of the race.
I love watching these cars go over the bumps as they're trying to slow down. You see them hop, skipping, and jumping side by side right next to each other. It looks like they're gonna make contact because of those bumps and kind of makes an optical illusion. But especially through turn 1, it's so cool to watch those cars bounce up and down. Oh no!
Oh, hold on as the 37 of Evan Stewart into the back of Guerrero. Guerrero checking up. Here comes Joshua Siegfried up around the outside, and Siegfried powers to the lead.
Oh no, Evan Stewart just went for a lunge that was not on. Guerrero moved down the track to block it. and it caused both of them to lose control of the car, and both of them to lose the spot to Joshua Siegfried, who now claims the lead for the first time in this race with 49 to go. If he's able to keep it for this next round of pit stops, Siegfried might just pull up as a surprise winner, as Jamie Lee Dunning now going around the outside of TJ Ivy.
Trying to go around the outside of Ivy. Here, contact again between the two as Dunning finds his way through. TJ Ivy pings off the door, and that lets Jamie Lee Dunning now pull alongside with Austin Guerrero, who is still struggling after being tipped out of the race lead by Evan Stewart.
Feisty these races are being right now. It's 47 to go in the round of 16, and they are not leaving anything out there on the track. They are not holding anything back. Already, we've had two cars make contact with each other twice now, and it is starting to really intensify up as Guerrero, who is just holding on to that lead, drops down to 5th place because his rear tires overheated after that incident. It's going to be pretty hard for him now to regain control, regain temperature in those rear tires, and see if he can battle with these guys. But he falls down to 6 as Robert Tester makes the move.
Wayne Graves off the road again, so yet more problems for the driver of the 07 here at the back of the field, coming out of turn 4. Just like last time, back end kicks around, and he goes sliding into the infield, but does a good job to keep that car underneath him and bring it back.
Yeah, turn 2, turn 4. It's the two you really have to be careful on. It's so easy to give the car a little bit too much throttle and put that thing into the especially with the track temp we looked at earlier on in this race. It makes it even easier. So it's already caught a lot of drivers out as Tester. Look, Ivy almost understeers up into him, but he's gonna have to file in on that occasion as they cross the start-finish line. That was so close to both of those cars ending up in the wall.
Evan Stewart trying to see if he can make something through here as Siegfried wants to try and make something happen here. Siegfried up to the outside wall, holding a mostly defensive posture still. Evan Stewart looking inside. Can he try to have a lunge going here? All right, fights on for the race lead now, and Siegfried holds on against Stewart for one more turn.
Yeah, but Stewart is not done yet. You see him looking for that inside line. Siegfried's doing a great job of holding that middle line, kind of, blocking both lanes simultaneously, blocking that inside lane and blocking that outside lane. So Stewart doesn't really have anywhere to put the move on. And Stewart, he has to be careful. One bad move down the inside, and Jamie Lee Dunning is right there to take away that 2nd place.
And now Joshua Siegfried trying to make a run down to the outside, is Evan Stewart. Cuts him, and he's trying to fight this one through. Evan Stewart up and around the top as Joshua Siegfried trying to make something happen up here. You got Jamie Lee Dunning in the fight as well, as Jamie Lee Dunning in the Scott's number 54 looking to drive up to the both and make it a 3-way fight for the lead. Siegfried and Dunning still neck and neck down to the turn number 1.
Neck and neck, but Stewart looks to have a little bit there. He almost cleared Siegfried there, knowing, but he's gonna lunge it into turn 3 here, and it looks like he has the room. Can he make the run up top? He does. Stewart, once again, back in the lead of this race, since about lap 61, and he's gonna be happy to have got that move behind him, especially with the drama that happened between him and Guerrero earlier. But all that it's done, it's settled, and Stewart reclaims the lead.
Stewart, the stage 1 winner, takes over the lead of the race once more as Jamie Lee Dunning now drive into the inside of Joshua Siegfried. Now remember, they could not go the distance in stage 2, so there's still one more green flag pit stop run left for these drivers.
And I think the pit window will open probably with 30 to go, given the cautions and us running a little bit over on stage 2 there. I think it'll open from 30 to go anywhere to about 25, maybe 24 to go if we've really been saving. So that's when I expect the pit stops. But Jamie Lee Dunning, he is not done yet. He's going to rub salt in the wound of Joshua Siegfried as he just lost the lead. And Jamie Lee Dunning is trying to take the second place away from him as well now.
Dunning down to the inside. Siegfried cuts into line here with the number 3 spot. And as I say that, he made the jumps up top. Eric Morton, meanwhile, has come to pit road, and he's now taking his mandatory pit stop for the stage. Siegfried up around the top side of Jamie Lee Dunning. And Siegfried trying to see if he can power clear up top, and he's got him.
Yeah, so Siegfried on that occasion able to hold off Jamie Lee Dunning. So if Dunning wants to take that second place off of the number 2 car, he's going to have to work at it again. Maybe save tires a little bit, drop out of his dirty air, and come at it, 30 laps down the line. But as I say that, I realize it's a bad idea because they're going to have to come down pit road 4 to 5 laps time for new tires anyway. So Jamie Lee Dunning, you might as well burn these tires out and leave nothing on the table here since you're about to get rid of these tires anyways.
And Siegfried holding on to the inside. Jamie Lee Dunning around the outside. Siegfried's coming to pit road this time by. Wanted to get that pit stop out of the way early. And, most of these drivers approaching the end of their pit stop cycle as well. But this time, no one is looking to save the fuel. No point when you know you have to come down. You may as well just push it all out on both stints.
Yeah, the undercut is super powerful around ovals here. You just have to be careful about a caution coming out and getting trapped a lap down. But if you don't, if that caution never comes out and you are able to get track position around a track that's been super hard to pass on, that could be monumentous to your race. And I really, really agree with Siegfried coming in a little bit earlier than all of his competitors, trying to pull off the undercut as Akari King Wright looking for the move on Chris Mackey.
Yeah, Akari King Wright trying to get down the inside now of that number 10. Whoa, hold on, look out, here comes Eric Morton trying to shoot for the middle and got cut off in the pass though. Look for a 3-wide launch. It wasn't happening though with both cars in front of the lane. Clearly, none of them were expecting it. I don't even know if Mackey was, or I don't even know if Morton was expecting that one to be completely fair as Morton battles his way through.
Yeah, remember, Morton is on fresher tires. He just came down pit road. He is going to be massively outpacing Akari King Wright and Chris Mackey. So it makes sense that he's got more pace and is looking for the moves on these guys, even though he's a lap down. It caught not only the drivers, it caught us out of nowhere as Hogland, Longworth, Lee Dunning, Dominic, Stewart, all making their scheduled pit stops here now in the last ones of the race. Gamble Day as well.
And here comes more down to pit road, and David Shively has now been caught for speeding on the way into pit road as well. So that's the second time this race that Shively has been caught for speeding. So it just goes from bad to worse for David. Well, we are now under 30 laps to go. We are still waiting on race leader Stephen Blevins to come down to the lane.
Yeah, and Stephen Blevins, remember, in that stage 2 stint, he did stay out longer than a lot of the other drivers. So even though there's not a point in saving fuel, maybe he was just doing it a little bit and hoping to extend and hoping for a caution to put him in a really good position for a race win. But if he doesn't catch that caution, Nolan, he's going to be undercut by all of the drivers that have already pit and stuck in some pretty deep waters.
And Blevins now holding the whole field 1 lap down, and he is going to try to stretch this green flag run out as long as he possibly can, right? Because he is really hoping that the yellow flag comes out right now. That would be massive for Stephen Blevins. That effectively guarantees Blevins the lead if the yellow comes out now.
Yeah, especially because everybody besides him is a lap down. As you see Joshua Siegfried with that undercut, Nolan, look at that. Re-inheriting the net lead, beating over Evan Stewart, and Stewart even lost a position to Robert Tester as well. So those Penske boys taking a net 1 and 2 here with some great pit strategies.
And right now, Siegfried is in front of Tess, but only by a couple tenths of a second. Right there goes Blevins into pit road, and that is going to allow for Joshua Siegfried to now retake the lead of the race. And Tester still holding for 8 tenths of a second. Siegfried's going to go 3 wide with Justin Day and Chris Gaxel to get around him. And could we see Joshua Siegfried being the surprise first driver to lock himself into the round of 12?
At this point, we definitely could. He does have older tires than the guys behind is what Stewart's going to have to cling on to here. Because Siegfried and Tester went for the undercut, that means Stewart effectively went for the overcut. So instead of that instantaneous gain of time you get from the undercut, it's going to be, whoa! As who is that who's way up into the wall? That's the third degree of Douglas Ivy. He's got to be careful as Molinari and Guerrero are still side by side. The Curry King Ray makes it 3 wide. What just happened?
Well, Molinari hasn't come down to pit road yet. That's what's happened there. And now he is going to come down to pit road. I think that scare was the kick in the shorts that he needed to make that commitment down into the lane. As we continue to fight this one through.
They cut off me explaining the difference between the overcut and the undercut. But as I was saying, that overcut is much more of a slow burn with pace advantage there. As every single lap you'll gain little by little by little, as compared to the undercut. It's an immediate game of time and is really, really good when you're at tracks where track position matters and overtaking is hard, which is Iowa 100% from what we've seen here tonight. So the undercut is definitely what you want to be prioritizing, which is what Siegfried did, it's what Tester did, and those two are in control of this race 100% at the moment now. With 21 to go, 7 minutes left in this race, and Stewart has a lot of ground to make up.
"20 laps to go, this time by. Siegfried continues to lead the way. Chris Mackey right now in the closest fight on the racetrack with TJ Ivy, and this a fight for the 7th place spot on the racetrack. So still have battles that are out there and kicking here on the racetrack. Adam Hoagland, 1 lap down, is still in the mix of this fight as well.
Yeah, Ivy trying to hold off from, that's going to be a lap car behind Adam Hoagland on fresher tires, who's going to just drive around him. But Ivy, looking for this battle for 7th, looking for the move on Chris Mackey here, picking himself up another point in this playoff battle. And looking at this playoff battle, great job from these guys to lock out this top 10. You can tell they put in a lot of practice in preparation for this race, as Tester is looking to hold on to this outside line from Evan Stewart, but Evan Stewart, he has those fresher tires, sends it down the inside, and is able to clear himself relatively easy, and that unleashes the beast onto Joshua Siegfried once more. 1.2 seconds, 18 laps to go. It's all in the hands of this man right here, Siegfried versus Stewart. Who is going to come out on top?
Evan Stewart, seeing if he's got enough time to run down Siegfried. He's got 1 second to make up in the next 16 and a half laps. Fighting his way through. He's got 2 lap cars with himself in the race leader. Those cars being Justin Day and Chris Gaxel. Siegfried continues to lead the way, and he actually could very well be holding up the 2 drivers directly behind, but in fact he is holding them up by just a little bit, which actually is good for him, because that means there's a much bigger buffer that that Stewart's got to fight through to get to him.
Yeah, he's got to get past those 2 lap cars of Justin Day and Chris Gaxel. And because it's NASCAR, they don't have to make it easy for him. As the 42 of Aaron Longworth looking 3 wide down the inside of Ted Gamble, and that 33 of Douglas Ivy. So he now moves himself into that 13th position. And as well, Jonathan Dominick's looking to get around Douglas Ivy, but I believe Dominic's a lap car on that occasion. And Longworth was not. That was for position, but Dominic's is a lap up on the rest of these guys. Short tracks, they always seem to mess with my brain with lap cars battling guys 2 laps down, and Jonathan Dominic's is a lap ahead of these guys, as Douglas Ivy currently 14th, 1 lap down.
Siegfried now under fire. Justin Day, the lone car between himself and Evan Stewart, but that buffer about to be gone. Stewart's got the inside of Day into turn 1. Robert Tassi continuing to fade in the background, and Evan Stewart is right there. He is starting to reel that gap in more and more on Joshua Siegfried. You're right on board with the number 2. And out the back is Evan Stewart. Joshua Siegfried looking for win number 1 of his Zero Torque Racing League career.
Yeah, but if Stewart's got anything to say about that, he's going to, as Hewlett gets on the apron just behind them. And this camera, I love it because it's so menacing. Look at Stewart just closing that gap inch by inch, 1/10 of a second by 1/10 of a second, as he's looking for a run off the outside of 4. He's caught that inside quarter panel, maybe. No, he's gonna look for the outside now as Siegfried defends low once again. Stewart has the outside line. That's where he wants to be in this battle mode.
Joshua Siegfried has 230 starts across several different leagues on iRacing, and yet the win count stands at only 2 wins in the, across those 230. He is really looking for what would be only his 3rd league win here on iRacing, and this could be absolutely critical for him because he is in such a tight spot. His best ever finish, 3 second-place finishes coming in Kentucky, Richmond, and Michigan. And that, of course, was all the way back in August, and then, of course, in November and October. He has never gotten the top step, and he's not going to get it today, as Evan Stewart is through to the point and is taken off, and it looks like it'll be a 4th runner-up spot for Joshua Siegfried.
Yeah, unfortunate there, but he made the undercut work. He got that track position. He did what he needed to do. But unfortunately, Stewart not only has more pace on even tires, but has a lot more pace when he went for the overcut on those much fresher tires than Siegfried. But I really like the attempt at the undercut, trying to leave everything out there. And the undercut still worked really well here, Nolan, as Siegfried started this race in that... No, Siegfried did start this race in 2nd, now that I'm remembering correctly, but he's done a great job to hold on to it. And even though he got passed by Evan Stewart, it is a great start to the playoff for him and a great point pickup here.
A lot of drivers still side by side on the front straightaway as we race our way further and further towards the checkered flag. Only 7 laps to go. One of the last fights on the racetrack is here between Ikari King Wright and Austin Guerrero. This year, the fight for the last spot inside the top 5 as King Wright trying to take that spot away for the number 24.
Whoa!
Oh, no!
Our finish line up into the wall.
No caution. He gets it down to the inside. And somehow we keep this race green. Jamie Lee Dunning, though, is done for the day after this hard hit into the wall.
Is it just another case of turn 4? It is.
That wasn't even getting loose, though. He caught the marbles and went tight into the outside wall, not causing a shake back around. And did you see the look that Eric Morton had trying to get around that on the inside? Right on board with the number 4.
Yeah, here we go. Keep an eye on that blue car up ahead as he spins down the infield, spins back up, and watch how close this is. Oh,
man. Cannot underestimate how tight of a run that was, and just managed to keep it off the inside wall as well. Great avoidance.
Yeah, great stuff there from Morton as that keeps that car in that 12th position or 11th position, but Jamie Lee Dunning, that's going to be race over for him. He was going to get a massive point pickup there.
Oh, no!
Out of the wall. Spun by Siegfried.
And that's it. It's overtime, and Evan Stewart's win is not so certain anymore. A 2-second lead is gone as Tester's gone around.
Well, what is the obsession with teammates running into each other in recent memory? It is mind-boggling how much it's happened here. Oh, it was not Siegfried. It looked to be Hogland.
Tester caught the wall.
Oh.
That explains it. Tester caught the wall and then nowhere for Ikari King Wright to go. And the yellow flag coming out almost immediately. Now here's the big question. Do you come down pit road for tires for what'll be a 2-lap dash?
It's such a hard decision. This is, if I was Evan Stewart, I would hate this caution so much. You have the win almost sealed up, but now you have to make this decision of, do I pit or do I stay out? If he pits and nobody else pits, he's stuck so many cars back with so much to make up in only 3 laps time. But he's going to come down pit road, and everybody's going to come down pit road.
Not everyone. Okay. TJ Ivy staying out. So is Justin Day, who will take up the lead lap now.
So that adds a little bit of spice into this race now, because if everybody came down pit road, it would have been a very, very hard-fought battle between a bunch of guys on fresh tires. But that little bit of spice that TJ Ivy is throwing into this race now is going to cause for some chaos, and it's going to cause for guys on fresher tires to be sending... Oh, Stewart! He's slow out of his box! What happened?
He's not slow out of his box. A car king Ryan and Chris Mackey, they both took only 2 tires.
Oh, my.
So very much a split strategy call here from the whole field.
This race just went from simple, plain, you know, easy cut to complex, and so many wrenches thrown into it, especially wrenches thrown into the plan of Evan Stewart, who put it on pole, won stage 1, led most of stage 2, got the lead at the end of stage 3. He's got a lot to fight for now, and I don't know if he's able to make up 5 places in just 2 laps, Nolan. It's going to be so tough for this 37 machine. He's going to have to really lock in if he wants to secure this victory.
It'll be a 2-lap dash next time by. And of course, Justin Day catching up to the tail end of the field. Daniel Molinari will get a lap back, and here comes Ivy. Ivy realized he couldn't go for it, and so he is coming down pit road, and as a result, he'll be starting this restart from the back, and he's got to hope for another quick caution here, or he is going to be mired with a 10th place finish tonight.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try and stay out, and I think he would have if tires were the only issue, Nolan. I think that because this pit window was so tight, I don't think he could have made the extra laps due to overtime going to be enforced here. So that's just super unfortunate there for TJ Ivy. He thought he might have something there, and you know, even though he's on much older tires than everybody else, he could try to hold on and hope for that race winner, a really good position, but just couldn't do it because of fuel, and that gives the lead now to Akari King Wright for the first time in this race. Is Chris Mackey on his outside, Joshua Siegfried going to be on third, in that third position. Evan Stewart, first guy on 4 fresh tires in fourth.
Green flag is in the air this time by. Here we go as we get set to dive back down to the turners 1 and 2. Akari King Wright trying to look for another win of his Zero Torque Racing League career. Chris Mackey tucks into the 2nd place spot. Siegfried trying to make a dive. Here goes Mackey. Mackey using the apron. He pushes up. White flag is out this time by. And now Akari King Wright has got to try and hold on for one more lap. Evan Stewart around the outside. Evan Stewart's in a 2nd. Mackey's able to drive it in deep, trying to make something happen from 3rd. But Stewart's got the top. Can Stewart have an answer for Akari King Wright into the final corner this time by? Stewart's going to send it. Stewart going for win number 3. He gets alongside. Akari King Wright, turn 4. He hangs on just barely. Stewart spins it. And Chris Mackey holds on to 2nd place. No, it was Stewart that held on to 2nd place at the line.
Oh my, what a finish. Evan Stewart said, I am not leaving on the table for this win. I will gas up too much and spin my car in the wall if I win. And that's what he did in the end. He was able to hold on to 2nd place. but Akari King, right, wins it by taking 2. Chris Mackey gives him some victory bumps, and he locks himself into the playoffs. His first win since Dover in week 2.
A win that he took completely in darkness as there was no lights available at the Dover International Speedway. Not a problem here this afternoon as Akari King Wright advances in to the round of 12. Take another look at the end of this wild, wild race that we saw here this afternoon. And watch in particular the slide that Evan Stewart had. This was the fight that saw he fight it out with Chris Mackey. And this was decided by 0.02 of a second between the pair for the second place spot. There you see Mackey up top. Stewart's just got his foot in it, trying to get across the line. And right about there, that's how close that finish was.
Wow, I mean, I could barely even tell. That is insanely close to 0.02 of a second. It's such a small fraction of time that it's even hard to really think about, because a blink is 1/10 of a second. So you think about dividing that by 100. So 100th of a blink of an eye. I mean, it is insane, the margins for that second place.
Green Flag TV sees another race come to a close here this afternoon as we power on through. It is Akari King Wright taking home the win this afternoon. Stewart holds on to second. Chris Mackey in third. And then it is Siegfried, Guerrero, Tester, Dominic, Blevins, Day, and Morton for the top 10.
And then still a lap down, finishing in 11th. It's Aaron Longworth, Ted Gamble, Douglas Ivey, Daniel Molinari, TJ Ivey, Chris Gaxo, Blake Hewlett, Dave Shively, Adam Hogland, and Samuel Longworth wrap out your top 20.
And then 21st on down through the field, it's Jamie Lee Dunning, Wayne Graves, Frank Schaubs, Austin Norris, Brian Matthews, and Riley Watts closes out the field from there. A stellar night of races that we had here this afternoon, and a night of races that you could not have asked for more from, as we will get set to take a run through here this afternoon of your top 3 drivers here at the end of the night. Let's take a run down and get a chat in here with Akari King Wright, the driver that advances through into the round of 12 after a wild final run there that time out. Akari, you took 2 tires. Everyone else around you has taken 4. What contributed to the 2-tire stop? How did that help you get the win here this afternoon?
Man, the 2-tire stop was the plan all along when we had the green flag 4-tire stop. And it was just, if I can save them, 2 tires, you know, the right sides were burning up, left sides were kind of hanging. And I felt like it was a Denny Hamlin moment. We made the Kyle Larson move to make you take 2, and we beat the fastest guy out there.
And an extremely intense final run there. You are able to fight your way past some drivers pretty smoothly from that point out, but obviously it was not an easy fight to the checkered flag. You had Chris Mackey and then Evan Stewart really handled your rear end on the final 2 laps.
I'm still shaking. I mean, from the restart, 2 to go, I go in, I'm like, I'm going to start immediately in the box, try to get a good jump, and it didn't hit me until the white flag came out that they were still like a couple inches behind me and not lane. Try to get the runs off the corner with the 2 tires, burn them up with, you know, burn them if you got them. And it just, man, I still am in disbelief that happened. Thank you to the Luminary Concept, Doug Ivey for the paint scheme, the crew guys, the crew chief making the 2-tire stop call, the pit crew making it work. I did get damaged there. Robbie Tester got a little loose, and I happened to be there, and we got a little tangle. But I knew, don't get it fixed. We got 2 to go.
Well, it's going to be a hard-fought fight for you, but now that you're into the round of 12, does this change your outlook for the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, it does, actually, and I have a couple words to say, and that is Playoff Akari is back. Let's repeat Season 1.
Akari King Wright coming home #1 here this afternoon, and we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing again next week in Nashville.
Thanks, Nolan Lucas.
Akari comes home #1 this afternoon, and then by 0.02 of a second and coming backwards across the line, it's your pole sitter Evan Stewart standing by with Lucas Moody.
Well, Evan Stewart, you did not leave anything on the line there on that last corner, and such a dominant drive for a lot of the race. Talk us through the emotions of the second place.
uh, oh, oh. You know, my spotter says I was there. Josh's spotter may have said something different, but I got clean ran into the wall on the restart out of 2. If it wasn't for that, I'd win the race. But hey, second place. We're in the playoffs. Who cares if you win? I mean, winning in advance, but you can also point your way up until about the round of 4. We'll worry about winning when we get up there.
Yeah, you make a great point. With that stage 1 win, picking up 10 points, and the second place overall picking up, I believe, 40 points. You got a lot of points here today, and you're going to move up the order a ton here for that playoffs, locking yourself into the round of 12. So you still feel pretty good about this race overall then?
Yeah. I liked it. Like Akari said, Akari and everybody's telling me they had me as their favorite. I do love short tracks. I don't know if it's been showing or not, but it was a great race. Sad that, of course, the usual green white checkered always has to come out after, I believe, what was a fantastic drive back to the lead. But like I said, second place, 40 points. First place in this first stage, fourth in the second stage. We're pretty healthy above the cut line, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, looking back at it now, I'm seeing a win at Richmond, a win at Bristol, a second at Iowa, loving the short tracks, and going to Nashville now, which isn't technically a short track, but it's on the shorter end. How do you feel about that super speedway?
It's definitely got a short track feel to it, as really any track that you got to use brake to get the kind of slow the car down and get it to rotate. I like to think I'm pretty decent at, just because I do love road courses. So, I think road course racing translate a little bit onto the short tracks just by the way the braking and stuff works. So, if we can make it there, looking forward to Martinsville.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the second, and thank you for taking time to talk to us.
Anytime, guys. I appreciate you all broadcasting. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And now Nolan is caught up with our third place finisher, Chris Mackey, just losing out by thousands.
It is Chris Mackey, the driver that arguably should have gotten second place here this afternoon by 2,000 of a second, though. And, Chris, you can blame this one squarely on how iRacing scores the cars with the helmet instead of the noses of the cars. But talk us through this race here, because that was quite the fight that you had.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Second, third, I'll take it. I just kind of wanted to start the playoffs with a good run, so we were able to do that. That was a fun race, man. Iowa's a lot more technical than people think, and then you crank the temperature up and track temp gets up high, man. It's really fun when you're slipping and sliding. So it was a awesome race, awesome battles. Congrats to Akari on the win. That was a good little performance there at the end to hold off Evan, man. Evan was quick all night, so that was good on Akari and good on the guys, man. I was pleasantly happy with how the race turned out, man. I know we had a few cautions here and there, but a lot of green flag racing. That was awesome.
You were able to come out of here with a stellar interaction here this afternoon, right? I mean, you come in here, one of your best finishes, arguably, of the entire season. Talk us through the race here tonight, because you were up front for most of the day.
Yeah, I was always kind of been a strong track, and I kind of, I knew I didn't have the pace to win, just kind of wanted to take it easy. I tried to do my best not to get in, and I don't think I had contact with a wall, a person, or anything tonight. I was kind of just trying to make sure to finish and solidify some points, because I missed the first half of the season, and then I snuck into the playoffs with the last spot with only half the races, so kind of got lucky to even be here, and now that, we're here and the points are kind of reset, now I'm kind of even playing field and just trying to get through the rounds and see how far I can go. So great way to start it. I'm very excited for next week. That Iowa and Nashville are arguably probably two of my better tracks. So the playoffs couldn't have lined up any better for me, and I'm excited for it. So glad to get out of here with a podium.
overall, this has shown much promise for your playoff chances here. Do you reckon you can hold on here coming into the next race here in Nashville?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in it. You know, I think I could climb up the playoff standings a little bit. You know, I don't think I have much for Evan and TJ and those guys, but you never know. We'll see. Just got to kind of make it through the rounds, and I'm pretty confident in myself and the car and the guys I'm racing with that, you know, we'll get some good strategies and it'll work out. And I'm excited to be here, man. Shout out to Robbie for putting on a great league. This was fun.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing again next week at the Nashville Super Speedway. Congratulations on taking home number 3 here this afternoon, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for the broadcasting.
And that was Chris Mackey coming home number 1 this afternoon, and number 3 this afternoon. And well, that is going to be it then for us here this afternoon, Lucas. What a fantastic drive that we had here this afternoon, and plenty of racing still yet to be had.
A fantastic drive and a fantastic finish as well. And this sets up the rest of the round of 16 absolutely perfectly as we head to Nashville, we head to Pocono. I cannot wait. Make sure you guys are here next week when we go live 8 p.m. Friday night as usual. And in case you miss it, make sure to put on that notification bell, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it, and you don't miss the 10 a.m. start tomorrow for the 24-hour of Daytona.
As Lucas was saying, it is going to be over 50 cars ready to go racing at it when we go at it again for 24 hours straight of racing action tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the VSCA Sports Car Championship in the Sunshine State. From there, we, of course, have the Precision Automobile Club Esports making their return here. That is going to be this coming Sunday as well, right after the end of the 24 at Watkins Glen International. From there, it is, of course, the High Tide Racing League out at the at the Pocono Raceway. Also takes the Daytona on Tuesday, with the Beer League having their season opener with Mazda MX-5s as well. Then it is back for more action, of course, here in the Nashville Super Speedway. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. My name is Ola Rempel, alongside Luke Smoot. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you all when we go racing tomorrow for 24 hours.